The West Philippine Sea, a name that evokes images of serene turquoise waters, teeming with marine life and dotted with idyllic islands. Yet beneath this picturesque facade lies a hotbed of geopolitical tension, a maritime arena where two nations, China and the Philippines, are locked in a high-stakes battle for control. This dispute, fueled by historical claims, economic interests, and strategic ambitions, has far-reaching implications, not just for the two countries involved, but for the entire region and the international order. The heart of the matter lies in the conflicting territorial claims over this strategically vital waterway. China, with its burgeoning economic and military might, asserts sovereignty over nearly the entire South China Sea, including the West Philippine Sea, based on what it calls its historical 9-dash line. This line, a demarcation that stretches deep into the maritime heart of Southeast Asia, is a source of constant friction. This expansive claim, however, directly clashes with the Philippines' own maritime entitlements as defined by the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS. According to UNCLOS, the Philippines has sovereign rights over its exclusive economic zone, or EEZ, which extends 200 nautical miles from its shores. The Philippines, though dwarfed in size and military power by its northern neighbor, has steadfastly refused to back down, asserting its sovereign rights over its exclusive economic zone, or EEZ. This determination is rooted in both national pride and the need to protect vital resources. This unwavering stance has led to a tense standoff, marked by diplomatic wrangling, legal battles, and increasingly frequent maritime confrontations. The waters have become a stage for a complex dance of diplomacy and power projection. The stakes, it's clear, are incredibly high. The outcome of this dispute will not only determine the fate of valuable resources and strategic shipping lanes, but will also set a precedent for how international law is upheld, or disregarded, in the 21st century. The world watches closely, aware that the resolution of this conflict could reshape the geopolitical landscape of the region and beyond. To truly grasp the intensity of the struggle over the West Philippine Sea, one must look beyond the surface and understand the immense geopolitical and economic significance of this contested region. It is not merely a body of water, but a vital artery of global trade, a treasure trove of natural resources, and a strategic chessboard in the wider game of great power rivalry. Firstly, the South China Sea, of which the West Philippine Sea is a part, is one of the world's busiest shipping routes. An estimated one-third of global maritime trade, worth trillions of dollars, passes through its waters annually. This includes vital energy shipments, raw materials, and manufactured goods, making it a critical lifeline for the economies of numerous countries, including China, Japan, South Korea, and those in Southeast Asia. Secondly, the region is believed to hold vast reserves of oil and natural gas, potentially enough to fuel the region's growing energy needs for decades to come. The U.S. Energy Information Administration estimates that the South China Sea could hold up to 11 billion barrels of oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. These energy resources, if exploited, could significantly alter the geopolitical landscape of the region, making it even more strategically important. Finally, the West Philippine Sea is also home to abundant fisheries, providing livelihoods for millions of people in the Philippines and other Southeast Asian nations. These fishing grounds are not just crucial for food security, but also represent a way of life for generations of fishermen who depend on the sea for their survival. The combination of these factors makes the West Philippine Sea a highly coveted prize, and explains why China, with its insatiable appetite for resources and its ambition to become the dominant power in the region, is willing to flex its muscles to assert its claims, often at the expense of its smaller neighbors. The West Philippine Sea is not just a regional issue, but a global one. The international community watches closely as tensions rise, knowing that any conflict here could have far-reaching consequences. The sea lanes that crisscross this region are vital not only for Asia, but for the entire world. The stability of this area is crucial for maintaining the flow of goods and energy supplies that keep the global economy running smoothly. Moreover, the environmental impact of any potential conflict cannot be ignored. The rich biodiversity of the West Philippine Sea is at risk from overfishing, pollution, and the potential for oil spills. Protecting this marine environment is essential for the health of our planet. In conclusion, the West Philippine Sea is a region of immense geopolitical and economic value. Its significance extends far beyond its waters, affecting global trade, energy security, and environmental health. The stakes are high, and the world is watching. China's claim to the West Philippine Sea rests on what it calls its historical rights in the region, encapsulated in its controversial 9-dash line. This U-shaped line, first drawn on Chinese maps in the 1940s, encompasses nearly the entire South China Sea, overlapping with the EEZs of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia. Beijing argues that its fishermen have been plying these waters for centuries, and that ancient Chinese dynasties exercised effective control over the islands and reefs scattered throughout the sea. However, these historical claims are largely disputed by historians and international legal experts who point out the lack of concrete evidence to support China's sweeping assertions. Furthermore, China's actions in recent years have done little to assuage concerns about its intentions in the region. Under President Xi Jinping, China has embarked on a massive island-building campaign in the South China Sea, transforming submerged reefs and shoals into artificial islands equipped with military-grade airstrips, harbors, and radar installations. These actions, condemned by the Philippines and other claimant states as a violation of international law, have significantly raised tensions in the region. China's growing military presence in the South China Sea, coupled with its increasingly assertive behavior towards its neighbors, has fueled fears of a potential conflict and raised questions about freedom of navigation in this vital and strategic waterway. Despite facing a much larger and more powerful adversary in China, the Philippines has refused to be cowed into submission. The nation's resolve has been tested time and again, but its spirit remains unbroken. Manila has consistently challenged China's expansive claims both diplomatically and legally, asserting its sovereign rights over its EEZ as defined by UNCLOS. The Philippines has engaged in numerous diplomatic dialogues and has taken a firm stance in international forums to defend its maritime boundaries. This David versus Goliath struggle has garnered international attention, highlighting the plight of smaller nations facing pressure from more powerful neighbors. The global community has watched closely, with many countries expressing support for the Philippines' position and calling for a peaceful resolution to the dispute. One of the Philippines' most significant victories came in 2016 when the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague ruled in its favor in a landmark case against China. This ruling was a testament to the Philippines' commitment to upholding international law and seeking justice through legal means. The tribunal, constituted under UNCLOS, invalidated the legal basis of China's 9-line claim, ruling that it had no legal basis in international law. This decision was a pivotal moment in the ongoing maritime dispute, setting a precedent for other nations with similar conflicts. The ruling was a major victory for the Philippines and a significant blow to China's ambitions in the South China Sea. It was celebrated widely in the Philippines, with many seeing it as a validation of their country's sovereignty and rights. However, Beijing has refused to recognize the tribunal's decision, calling it null and void and vowing to ignore it. This stance has led to increased tensions in the region, with China continuing its activities in the disputed waters. This defiance of international law has further strained relations between China and the Philippines, and raised concerns about the future of the rules-based order in the region. The international community has been urged to take a stand and ensure that the principles of international law are upheld. Despite China's intransigence, the Philippines has continued to assert its rights in the West Philippine Sea. The nation's Coast Guard and Navy have been vigilant, ensuring that their presence is felt in the contested waters. Manila has stepped up patrols by its Coast Guard and Navy, modernized its armed forces, and strengthened its alliances with other countries, particularly the United States. Joint military exercises and strategic partnerships have been key components of this approach. This multi-pronged strategy reflects the Philippines' determination to defend its territorial integrity and uphold the rule of law. The nation's efforts serve as a reminder that even smaller countries can stand firm and protect their sovereignty against larger, more powerful adversaries.